Well, for more on this subject, I'm joined in the studio by Badaoui Rouhban, who is a specialist in disaster risk reduction as well as climate change. He is the former director of UNESCO's Catastrophe Prevention Unit. First of all, then, welcome to the programme, Mr. Rouhban. Thank you very much for joining us. We really do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Maybe I could begin by talking about warnings. We've had days of warnings that this hurricane was to hit. Do you think the authorities in Jamaica have given enough time to people to prepare themselves sufficiently?
Absolutely. The warning is now in order since at least 10 days. Now, Jamaica is also used to the occurrence of storms and to hurricanes. It's not the first time. And the country, the island, is relatively well prepared in general to natural hazards to the occurrence, including to hurricanes. Now, this hurricane is, unfortunately, is an exceptional event. It is exceptional because of its degree on the scale of hurricanes. It is the highest degree on the category. It is category 5. This is the highest one. It is also occurring very early in the season of hurricanes. The water in the Caribbean Sea is already very warm, still warm. And usually the water, the temperature of the water in the sea serves as the carburant for the occurrence of hurricanes. So this is also another parameter which is unfortunately unfavorable. And then this hurricane seems to be very slow, 4 kilometers velocity per hour, velocity of speed 4 kilometers per hour, which is equivalent to a person walking, not more than that. So it is going to stagnate, it is going to get in a few hours over the island, over Jamaica, and will stabilize there for hours and hours, dropping rain, dropping intense rain, bringing too much gust and speed of winds, 280 kilometers per hour, 280 kilometers per hour. This is equivalent to a high-speed train. So all the country will be under threat, and despite the fact that Jamaica has good building codes, has preparedness for natural disaster, whether storms or even earthquake, but this high speed of wind and together with the quantity of rain are going to be a very big challenge to the authorities and to all the services, to the public services.
Just to point out to our viewers, we are looking at live pictures there of Jamaica as we speak. You talked there about how Jamaica is well used to this phenomenon and has adapted its infrastructure. Can you give us some examples of that?
Well, they have, first of all, a building code for storm. They know that a building should withstand strong wind forces. They also have this kind of codes for earthquake occurrence but you cannot expect that they are usually used to have storms of category 4 or category 5 even, but which will pass very quickly and do not stay there for hours. Now they have been warned since 8 days about this. Even when the authorities gave the order of evacuation 2 days ago until today, some people were reluctant to evacuate because they have been told since 8 days that there is something coming. So the culture of evacuation is not very easy to coexist with. So you have still people which did not evacuate. There are in the country at least 800 shelter centers, but only 70 of these 800 centers are now occupied. So unfortunately, the surprise brought by this behavior of this hurricane has taken by surprise, all the preparedness measure. And therefore, even that's why even the army is now mobilized, not only for the rescue, for the facing the landfall of the hurricane, but they are also trying to get prepared for the aftermath in terms of how to bring back the power to function, because there will be power outage, there will be roads blocked with landslides, with rock slides, there will be destruction of infrastructure. So all this hopefully will be recovered quickly and not take weeks and months for this kind of recovery. So the challenges are major.
Just to be clear, you said there that not all of the shelters were anywhere near full, that very many people have not left their premises, their properties, even though they've been told to evacuate. Have I understood correctly? You're saying that because they're very used to this happening, they haven't appreciated that this time it is much, much more serious, and they're...
Well, you know, the evacuation is always a difficult subject to cope with by the authorities. They are usually mandatory in many countries. Even in Jamaica, there has been announcement that the evacuation is mandatory. But you cannot use force to evacuate people. Although one of the officials this morning I heard was saying that we may have to use force to evacuate people. But now it is too late, probably. I'm not sure about the conditions, but probably now it is too late to evacuate, because the landfall will occur in about a couple or 3 hours. So we have to be very prudent, to be vigilant, to listen carefully. The people should listen carefully to the instructions of the authorities, what to do now in the next few hours, but also after the passage of the hurricane, we have still to be cautious for several hours and several days to come.
And in the aftermath, dealing with the damage that it's called and the death rates as well, perhaps. What are the key priorities for rescuers? And, you know, can outside countries help? How can they usefully help?
Well, they will need certainly help. I know that the United Kingdom is already mobilized to send rescue and search people. Yes, because there are many. So now the priority is going to be to save lives, to come to people injured, to come to elderly people, to protect some houses in case there could be possibility of protection. And then gradually we will need drinking water. The drinking water is going to be a necessity. The floodings which will occur will be huge floods which will destroy. We are talking about 1 meter of rain, 1 meter of thickness of rain in the next 24 hours. We are talking about wind velocity. We are talking about storm surges. 70% of the population in Jamaica live not far from 5 kilometers from the coast. So we expect storm surges from the coast. We expect high tidal waves. We expect floodings of the coastal zone. All this will need to be carefully strategize. What will be the routes? How can the rescue machines, the rescue engines reach the population in need? All this will be carefully monitored, despite the fact that, again, Jamaica is not unfamiliar with natural hazards. They are prepared, they have good strategy, they have national disaster reduction policies, they have good institutions, but still the phenomena is exceptional. It is the strongest hurricane to occur in the year 2025, this year. It is the strongest hurricane to occur, and it is also the strongest hurricane to hit Jamaica over the last 40 years.
And in the very long term, in the big picture, not the very long term, but in the longer term and in the big picture, I'm talking about climate change. We have the COP30 climate change conference coming up soon. How much progress is being made towards combating climate change so that these sort of extreme weather events might not be so frequent in the future?
Incidentally, climate change and the effect of climate change are also bringing an unfavorable factor to this hurricane, because the water of the Caribbean Sea, as I said, are warmer. They are warmer because of climate change. So now, globally, whether for Jamaica or all other countries, we have to take the climate change issue as the issue of the century. It is the challenge of humanity for this century. Of course, we have today many other priorities in the world. We have armed conflicts. We have some problem of economic development in many countries, especially in developing countries. But climate change should remain a priority on the agenda of the governments. There should be more measures of not only reducing the greenhouse gases, but also we have to strengthen the adaptation measures in each country. Adaptation measures by early warning system strengthening, by teaching the population and making exercise to the population how to behave when there is a natural hazard occurring, what to do when there is a flood forecast, what to do when there is a heat wave or wildfires. So all this require a construction, an increase, a strengthening of the protection measures, protecting the houses, protecting the infrastructure, informing the population, putting early warning system, and constructing this culture of prevention at all levels, not only at the level of public services, but also at the level of each town, of each village, of each city. Every person should become, especially in the developing world, every person should become an agent of disaster risk reduction.
Just finally then, so Jamaica today is expected to be most severely hit. After that, the earthquake will be heading towards Haiti, the Dominican Republic. Is Jamaica expected to get the worst of this?
You meant cyclone,
Sorry,
not earthquake.
hurricane,
Yes, Jamaica is going to be hit the worst because of this 5 on the category. Next is going to be what we don't know how Cuba will be affected, because it will be on the trajectory of the storm, of the hurricane. And then we have the Bahamas. And after the Bahamas, probably it will be directing itself towards the eastern coast of the United States, but hopefully not so longer as a hurricane, but maybe as a storm, hopefully.
With luck. Thank you very much, Badaoui Rouhban. We really do appreciate your knowledge on this matter and sharing your insights with us. Thank you very much for coming into the studio here of France 22
Thank you.
today.